What happens when we die? Where do we go? Is there an afterlife? Will we come back? These are questions that get asked a lot. While many people seem to think they have the answers, in reality, no one really knows. It's why a lot of people are scared for what the outcome will be, and why many decide to follow paths that give the illusion of knowing the said outcome. The illusion of choice. If there's one type of fear a lot of us can agree on, it's the fear of the unknown. It's why when the backrooms became a thing, it was so successful at bringing people into its lore. From the uncertainty of what really was the backrooms, and if something was in there, to now it's just a whole mess of different floors and fucking death moths. I don't know, dude. Now the whole uncertainty is now certain, as yes, there's a monster there for sure, almost on every single floor. But the fear of the unknown is what can drive people to start thinking irrationally, making people think something is there, and in return can trick them into believing it's really there. This is where the illusion of choice comes into play. People would much rather pretend their choice really matters at the end of the day, since a lot of people want to give their life meaning, because once you kick the bucket, everything is as if it never existed. It's why people find comfort in things like religion or faith, or some find comfort in making sure when you die, your family will be set for life. It's why when I found a game that involves a fish making a choice between two outcomes, even though the end result will be the same, I had to deep dive into it. Today we'll be following our fish friend and seeing what he will do. And that game in question is called How Fish is Made. Now before we get all into this, I highly advise you go play this game, as it's free on Steam and it'll probably take you 20 minutes and then come back to this video. But it's your call. How Fish is Made is a game about choosing the path you want in life, and it was made by 3 devs and published by Kasuraga. The game begins with the title screen of a fish falling down a large industrial vent, which you soon learn is the entrance to the machine. You soon meet another fish who asks a simple question: are you going up or down? He even states no matter what at the end of life, you will have to make up your mind. When you pick an option, he will laugh as if he believes you picked wrong compared to him. You head down the hall with the last thing the fish tells you is the machine can't talk, so don't try to talk to it. If there's one thing I want to praise right now is how beautiful the lighting is, and it's probably some of the best lighting I've seen in a while in a horror game. I just really love watching how objects react with the light, making the lights flash or flicker. It's so amazing. I've seen AAA companies barely come close with lighting that feels so real yet so trapping, and somehow this game does it so well. Everywhere you look, the lights shine through cracks and holes as the dripping of water and echoing machinery sounds can be heard. It's a sense of loneliness I've not seen in a while. Also helping are the unique designs of the fish with the low poly yet highly detailed textures. You will notice over time as you progress through the machine, others will chant and preach how their choice is right and the other choice is wrong. Many will try to lead you down their path, saying things like they're a sage or how they know their choice is correct, while using whatever they can to go against the other person's views. It's those little details that push heavily on the true meaning that I love. As you travel through the machine, you start to notice some parts don't look like they're made of materials at all, and more as if it's the flesh of something. Even having the fleshy walls make sounds when touched. There's even a fish trapped in a condom. I don't know what the meaning here is, but it's here, and I don't know how to mention it anywhere else in the script, but here it is. One of the moments that stuck with me the most is meeting this fish who's trapped in gears as he was trying to escape, and asked if you can help him get out. But with there being no option, the only way through is to press the button. And silence is heard as his parts lay everywhere. Knowing what you just did, you have to still carry on. Deeper into the machine, we notice what looks to be these long strands of meat as they're pulsating, and going through them leads to an open room with water everywhere. Soon, a sound of 2 voices can be heard as they advertise the best flavoring and talking about the packaging. Not sure what that means, we head further, and it leads you down a swirling hallway with barely any light inside. pushing through the hallway and facing your fears, you'll soon lead to a fish that has a parasite in its mouth, which is a real thing that can happen, as these parasites will actually eat the fish's tongue and become it. Then the parasites will stay there till the fish dies, because obviously it's going to die with its tongue gone. Now this moment here is probably one of the most what the fuck moments in gaming I've ever seen. The parasite decides it's time to do a song and dance number, and if you've ever wanted to see a twerking parasite, then this is it. The visuals being shown are a lot of pictures of parasites, and the picture "do fish feel pain" shows up, which sparks a question if they do or not, and yes they do, but I know people are going to disagree with me. There's a lot to digest here, but I can say I never expected it. We continue forth to what seems to be the creature's spine, seeing the bones holding the roof up as the path seems endless. We soon come up to a pile of rotting fish, with them coming from a huge contraption in the ceiling. As there's nothing we can do for these guys as they're already dead, we have to keep moving on, and we find these weird egg casings with these white creatures inside every hole. As the creatures seem too small to really be identified, I can tell it's still not a good sign. We continue forward with our path being lit up for us to then run into a small fish as he says it's time and to choose your path. He asks us if the uncertainty of the outcome scared us, or did we like the idea that the choice was merely an illusion, that everything we did was for nothing. He wonders about if we ever strayed from the path we picked, and if we've been honest to ourselves with the truth we present to others, and if we truly follow said truth. He sends us off as the last thing we see in the room is a weird meat statue over the hallway entrance. We move through the dark hallways, heading deeper into the machine. What felt like forever, we finally run into another fish, but this one is giant. As he himself says, this is the final moments and how even as the biggest fish in the water, the uncertainty scares him. He does give us the choice to be told how many fishes he watched pick a path, but warns us it may affect our choice. Once he tells you the outcome, the final step is to move forward and pick between up or down. Now there's two endings, but they all start the same. Seeing white text saying how they've hated being told people are going through the same thing, and how we're not alone, but they have a lot of selfish feelings every time they hear that phrase. They feel their pain is worse, and how it's not comparable to someone else's. But deep down, they know it's not true. They hate people, and they know you can't just hate people, as you can't live your life alone like that. We cut to a pile of rotten guts. As the game tells us, we're now a swelling god of no purpose, no direction, and no self. The other ending shows you on a dinner plate as the text talks about how amazing the fish is here, and we should be taking pride in knowing we helped bring these little troopers to our plate. This ending is supposed to reflect the fact that you were useful to something else, even if you did die. That's what I gained from it. But now we're here, and what you just witnessed was a fish heading to its own demise, a demise for another creature's benefit. This does go deeper though, with the biggest takeaway I got from this was the idea of faith and the illusion of choice. You see, throughout everything, each fish has a choice, up or down. No one knows what that choice will bring, but we know it's a choice we will have to make. It's a very heavy-handed on the idea of religion, at least what I got from it. I want to make a disclaimer. My experiences with religion aren't the same as everyone else's, and as I've grown older, I've met a lot of nice and loving people from many different types of religions. I just want to talk about my set experiences with it and how this game does a good job at hitting that feeling. Growing up around a lot of religious people, you're always told to follow the words of God, and how God always has a plan for you. Meaning that the choices you make here are never going to matter, as your path is always guided by God and only He decides what truly will happen. It makes you feel like you're just going through hallways of life, as you don't actually have a choice to stray off the beaten path, as it's already pre-planned. You see, as a child, I remember all the hardships I faced with the abuse from my dad's girlfriend he was dating at the time, and the whole divorce between my parents, and then all the bullying I was facing in elementary school. With all this stuff happening, it made me question, what kind of path is this? What path am I even meant for? Once I remember at my breaking point, I remember questioning if God is real, and growing up in a very small town where religion was a big thing. Some kids heard me and I got my ass beat up for this, which really pushed me away from religion, but as I'm older now, I've learned to deal with those past traumas way better now, and I've gotten many new experiences with all types of religion. And while I occasionally still get affected by traumas from my past, I can at least say that it made me strive to make my own path even if the ending goal is still the same. No matter what the goal is, we die, and that's the harsh truth. While some may be okay with that, others are terrified. It's why religion is such a big deal to a lot of people, as there's quite a lot of good things from religion, usually the moral side of things and striving to be a good person and give faith to God, that when we die, all of this will feel like it's worth it. Even if there's a lot of people who use religion as a way to push their beliefs into controlling others' lives, which isn't okay and not what the meaning for most religions is supposed to be.
Pokemon, Pocket Monster, the spiral. And it stands for what? Male fertility. It's supposed to be able to mesmerize and hypnotize its enemies. This character over here is called Mewtwo. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. 3 fingers. It means hail Satan. Cute little.
Real people with real needs are receiving real life-changing miracles when they use the miracle spring water.
My husband brought the spring water up and I drank it, and I'm speaking today. I had no speech, totally paralyzed. And
Healing, overseen in the U.S. by a man who says he's an archbishop, Mark Grennan,
This is a sacrament.
claiming that what's in this glass is a miracle cure for the most serious of diseases. To find out what's in the miracle cure, we ordered a shipment, $150 for these small bottles, and took them to our respected testing laboratory. Nothing miraculous about it, essentially a kind of chlorine.
MMS is an industrial chemical. It's an industrial bleach.
In fact, look what happened when we poured some of it undiluted onto a pair of jeans. The denim turned white through both pant legs. Even at the prescribed much smaller dose, experts say it's still a danger for anyone to drink.
I can still say those who use it correctly to be a better person and to try to give everyday life meaning while helping others and leaving the world a better place at the end, all power to you. Throughout the game, you're going through hallways not able to really explore anywhere but the path given, knowing the deeper you go, the less likely chance you have to return. With each hop forward, the closer you are to the choice you will have to make. It's a feeling that grows heavier the closer you get to the end. It's why at the end of it, even after how many people will tell you their way is right, you still can pick between up or down. You yourself can never stray from what you believe in, even if others will try to make you. It's why even as time fades and how we grow older and feel our bodies begin to weaken, as someday death will be there waiting. You can try to believe it won't happen and that you will be here till the end of time. The choice will still happen regardless. Sooner or later, we will have to go up or down. And I can say when that day does come, I personally felt like I lived a life worth living because I chose to live it the way I wanted. I chose my path, even as narrow as it may be.